passionate about rural women and children, especially at the early start of their lives. When I was 2 years old, my parents separated, and my mother decided she's the one who was going to take off. And single-handedly, my dad took care of my brother and I. And later, decided to get married again and brought this beautiful lady who was only beautiful to him, but spelled hell for us. And no sooner had she joined the family than we decided to become street children. So we got out of home, 7 years in the streets, raised in children's homes, and appreciated life, as it were. We hated, or personally hated my dad so much because of the turn of events that happened so soon. But I didn't know that that hatred was a blockage to so many things later in my life unless I handled it. And so I got very good parents, other parents, missionaries from Germany, the US, the UK, took care of me and went to the best of schools right from primary school when I went back to school 9 years later, because I had 7 years on the streets, then 2 years in children's homes, trying to prove that we are the best people in this world. But even having gone and gotten the best education, there was still something that wasn't clicking. And that was because of the hatred that I had in me towards my dad. And one day, I got the courage to go back home and discuss with him and forgive him. And it's like my mind, my heart, everything around me just opened. And I saw my dad crying for the first time that time. I cried second after him. Then my stepmom, who is the most beloved mother I have right now, cried third. And then the rest of the siblings followed crying. And then we forgave each other. And then from there we had a good start. And things simply opened. Now, the 7 years that I had in the streets were the best for me. Because contrary to what I thought, I was the first street child ever in our entire family to be in the streets, I made history. It actually was a boot camp for me. I learned so many skills, and one of them was believing in people. Because in the streets, you don't stay alone. You stay as a group, or call it a gang, call it a biz. That is what it was. And so you trust and believe in all these people that you've gathered in the streets. And my gang had 7 of them. And from looking for food, sio kwenda job. This is simply going to the dustbins and all those things and getting the food. To stealing clothes on the line so that you can have something for the following day, or going to the market and stealing the shoes when they are selling so that you can have something for yourself. But all these factors and experiences that we went through brought confidence, brought trust amongst ourselves. And I didn't know that actually, as it were skills that I was developing to come and guide me in my later years. Now, because of my experience, I think I became so passionate about life, and this actually opened up after forgiveness. And life in the light of the children and the factors that make these children go to the streets. It all narrowed to poverty. Born and bred in a slum in Eldoret, going through all these fiascos in life, and now realizing that these are actually the main factors that pushed everyone that direction. I was compelled to think of coming up with a solution. And this solution, initially I thought by sitting with politicians and dealing with the issues of policy, changing policy, and all this is gonna bring the real change. It really doesn't. It depends which change you're looking for. They can help as far as policy is concerned, but the actual change, like I need money in my pocket, they can't come and do that for you. So how do we take care of that? I went to one of the best communication universities in this country, and while there, I got the eureka moment, and I went into farming, and I became a farmer for a long time. Went into social entrepreneurship in farming, all the way into exports, learned my lessons, made a lot of money, lost more money than we made, depression because of losing the money, because agriculture is not your cup of tea. Then eventually decided the most, and by this time I was working in some NGO, advising government on children policy. And it hit me. Right before elections, I met a lady who was in this MP's office trying to solicit for money for education. And I was in that institution for 7 years. So when I was meeting her, I was an intern. When I met her next, I was the country deputy director. And she was asking for the same thing. Only the difference here is that the child is 7 years older. And I said, no, it can't be. And now that is when I came up with the same concept of agriculture, started a social enterprise within the agricultural space, and started working with these women at that level. And I'm happy to say I own around 21 cows in local villages that I have never seen. Because these women are involved in the agricultural process, and they get an income, and they are so happy they can take care of their children, children's need, and more so education. And they're like, they call my colleagues and say, you know what, tell the director or tell your boss we have a cow for him. And everyone calls and says, by the way, kuna ng'ombe Ukambani, you have a cow in Shimalavandu somewhere. Before you realize what is happening, you're actually impacting real change. And the one that actually hit me big was a shopkeeper within one of the areas that we were working. Prior to my team and I traveling down, I would call him and send him money on M-Pesa to buy sodas for the number of people that we would be going. And this time I called him after farmers have been paid, and he said, boss, the shop is full, bwana. I'm like, I need to send you money to buy He said, no. Everyone here who used to come and take on credit no longer does that. They pay on point and on time. And that makes me be at a position to stock my shop. And so this brings me back to, if I didn't get a chance to forgive my dad and carry all the pain that I was having with him, it was going to deter me so much from impacting the real change in life. And the things that we take for granted really isn't what we think. And just like Mother Teresa said, sometimes in life, we need to open a new chapter in our lives. And when you open that chapter, just a pen and a hand of God, everything else opens for you. Thank you.